You're watching Race to Power. I'm Shreya Upadhyay. On the show today, we decode the ongoing Afghanistan-Pakistan conflict. Remember, both sides held press conferences today and warned of more decisive action if strikes do not stop. And here in India, huge relief for the opposition Aam Aadmi Party leader and former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal as a Delhi court discharged him in the liquor policy case. We get you more in just a bit.
You are seeing the utterly against
Afghanistan and Pakistan clash is intensifying by the hour. The Afghanistan government spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid said that Kabul will respond to every evil act of Pakistan, warning that if Pakistan continues this war, Afghani forces also have the ability to take decisive action against it. In fact, he added that Pakistan's planes are still flying over Afghan airspace. Pakistan's military spokesperson, meanwhile, said that 274 Taliban regime officials and militants have been killed since Thursday night. Pakistan has released images as well of the engagement of the Afghan checkpoints. Pakistan claims 115 tanks have been destroyed, 22 selected targets have been hit with careful vigilance to avoid civilian casualties. Pakistan claims that 12 of its soldiers have been killed, 27 have been injured, while one is missing in the clashes with Afghanistan. Earlier, remember, Kabul launched fresh drone strikes on Pakistani targets, specifically on military bases located in Islamabad, Abbottabad, Nowshera and Jamrud. Pakistan said that its anti-drone systems brought down all the drones.
Another issue is that Pakistan claims that last night, more than 100 fighters of the Islamic Emirate were martyred and 200 others were wounded. This claim is completely false. The reason is that last night, we were the ones who carried out the attack, and they were unaware. We did not give them the opportunity to cause us casualties, and the damage that occurred was very limited.
Pakistan's Information Ministry confirmed firing at multiple locations along the border. These included Chitral, Khyber, Mohmand Khurram and Bajaur sectors in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Pakistan and Afghanistan, remember, share a 2,611-kilometer long border, also known as the Durand Line, that Afghanistan has never really formally recognized. Pakistan bombed major cities in Afghanistan, including the capital Kabul on Friday, with Islamabad's defense minister declaring the neighbors at open war as part of Operation Ghazab-Lil-Haq. Jets and multiple loud blasts followed by gunfire were heard in the Afghan capital over a period of more than 2 hours. Jets were also heard overhead in Afghanistan's southern city of Kandahar, where the supreme leader Hibatullah Akhundzada is based. Strikes also hit targets in Paktia province. The Taliban Defense Ministry said that it captured 19 Pakistani military posts and 2 bases. It also said that 55 Pakistani soldiers were killed. There was an unconfirmed report that a Pakistani jet was shot down as well. But remember, it's very hard to verify these figures from either side. Kabul's residents, meanwhile, assessed the damage to the vehicles after air and ground strikes that hit Taliban military posts, headquarters and ammunition depots in multiple sectors along the border. Both sides have reported heavy losses. The neighboring country, Iran, meanwhile, has offered to help facilitate dialogue between Afghanistan and Pakistan. In fact, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi posted on X, and I quote, "The Islamic Republic of Iran stands ready to provide any assistance necessary to facilitate dialogue and to enhance understanding and cooperation between the two countries." Unquote. On the 21st of February, remember, Pakistan had carried out multiple overnight airstrikes on Afghanistan, which the Taliban said killed at least 18 people. Islamabad claimed that the attacks targeted 7 alleged militant camps and hideouts near the border and said that they were launched following recent suicide bombings in Pakistan. But Kabul has said that civilian homes and a religious school had been targeted, with women and children among the dead, and they vowed a response at the appropriate time. Let's try and understand this situation better and get a perspective of what the wider implications would be. I'm joined by Major General Rajan Kochar. He's Defence and Strategic Affairs Analyst, joining us live from New Delhi. General Kochar, good evening. Welcome to WION. I want to start by asking you who you think, I know it's a difficult question because the numbers are contradictory from either side, but who do you think has an upper hand going forward? Because this is not ending anytime soon.
Thank you very much for inviting me. See, this is not a conventional war which we are talking about, because if you try to analyze the areas where the war fighting is taking place, I have divided this entire zone into 3 specific areas. One is the northwest sector, where Torkham and the Khyber Pass area is there. The next is the central mountain sector, where Spin, Bodak and Chaman you're crossing, if you actually see on the map. And the third is the southern sector, where Ghazni, Paktika and the Bajaur axis is there, which I just saw on your map also. So now these are the 3 areas. The northwestern sector is a fairly mountainous area, difficult for a conventional war for the Pakistan to actually get into or launch offensive in this area. Central mountain sector is a plateau kind of an area. It is much easier for tanks to actually move in this area and engage the Afghanis. And the third is the southern sector, which is again a mountainous area like the northwestern sector. So I don't think if Pakistan is talking about war ho gaya, like it's an open war or something like that, it's not happening, because Pakistani forces are not moving into Afghanistan because they know that the moment they move into Afghanistan, there's going to be very, very heavy casualties. So Pakistan is resorting to a strategy where the air power is going to be used, the missiles are going to be used, the artillery is going to be used, and the drones are going to be used. And it is very difficult for Pakistan to inflict heavy casualties in the northwestern and the southern sector, because there are steep mountain ridges here, narrow defiles and passes. So it's very difficult to strike at these areas when you carry out a military appreciation.
So General Kochar, what you're saying is that even though Pakistani army might have an upper hand when it comes to having arms and ammunition and the kind of skill that's required, while the Afghani forces, the Taliban forces, are more adept at guerrilla warfare, Pakistan will still not want an all-out war because of the kind of challenges that it will face in terms of terrain. But as far as support from allies and regional situation is concerned, General Kochar, you know, you've got the Pakistan foreign minister talking to the Saudi Arabian foreign minister, the Turkey foreign minister. The Turkey foreign minister then called the Afghan foreign minister, Muttaqi, to cease these hostilities. Do you think, you know, the larger, wider players in this region will want to get involved in this conflict?
They would get involved in this conflict to de-escalate the conflict, not to escalate the conflict. And Saudi Arabia, Turkey, I tend to agree with your assessment that Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Iran also. And do not forget, you know, China, because China has a larger interest in Balochistan. And especially the CPEC is going to be very vulnerable if this war carries on for a longer time, because we must remember that where is the strength of the Taliban? The strength of the Taliban is in asymmetric warfare, hybrid warfare, proxy warfare, suicide bombers. So Pakistan is vulnerable because a large amount of Afghan refugees are still in Pakistan, and they can be a source of disturbance to the Pakistan military, and especially when we talk about in Islamabad, the recent suicide bombing attack took place. We talk about Karachi, we talk about Rawalpindi. So these are the areas that not only that, in Baluchistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the movement of the Pakistani army convoys are prone to sniper action and IEDs. So that is going to be the strategy of Taliban here, of the or the Afghanis, that they are going to create a disturbance within Pakistan, which is going to hurt them much more than anything else, because there is an image of the Pakistan army which has been dented. Because if you look at the report of the Pakistani peace studies,
Yeah.
they have actually come out with a very interesting statistics that more than 1,000 Pakistani soldiers have lost their life, including officers, in the last 1 year. So we see a kind of a resurrection of the image of the Pakistan army. General Munir is very much concerned that so many heavy casualties are taking place in his own army. So
Yeah.
he wants to carry out these air strikes to give a sense of feeling to the people of Pakistan that the Pakistan army is very strong and it can cause a major damage. But I think in the assessment, in damage assessment as of now, I think the Afghanistan army has had upper hand,
Okay.
because 19 Pakistani posts have been captured,
Yeah.
and a large number of Pakistani soldiers have been taken prisoners of war. And why it is happening is because it's a 2,640
Yeah.
kilometers of border, which does not have an adequate Pakistani military strength to guard each and every point of the border. So the infiltration is also easy, and it is
Yeah.
very, very easy
So it's a
for the
dicey situation
Taliban
with a
to launch
porous
attack.
border, General Kochar, is what you're saying. We'll have to wait and see what happens in the next few hours, in the next few weeks. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us on WION and helping us understand this wider picture.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's shift our focus now. The MAGA camp is mapping a plan as midterm elections are fast approaching. Reports suggest that a group of pro-Trump activists are lobbying for an executive order that could possibly cancel the midterm elections. The 17-page draft executive order claims that China interfered in the 2020 elections. The MAGA camp is hoping that this could form a basis to declare a national emergency, which in turn will unlock extraordinary presidential power over voting. On his part, the US President Donald Trump has repeatedly previewed a plan to mandate voter ID and ban mail ballots in November's midterm elections. Trump has demanded that Majority Leader John Thune find some way to pass a voter ID bill in the Senate. However, Republicans in the chamber maintain that they do not have the support to change Senate rules to bypass the filibuster. Most legislation in the Senate, remember, requires 60 votes to advance, which means Republicans would need some Democratic support to pass the voter ID bill. But the Democrats have been opposing this legislation, and so is one of the Senate's most senior Republican leader, Lisa Murkowski. Trump has said that if the bill fails, he will act unilaterally to impose the changes for the midterms. Donald Trump has never accepted defeat in the 2020 elections and has alleged foreign interference. The evidence of election fraud has not been found so far. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is leading a review of election security that American officials say focuses on foreign influence. Let me go across to Susan Tehrani, our correspondent. She's joining us from New York at the moment. Susan, good evening from New Delhi. You know, critics would say that this is Donald Trump's attempt to escape defeat in the upcoming midterm elections. They would say that, look, you're trying to not have midterm elections through the MAGA camp because you know that no ruling party has won the midterm elections.
Yeah, well, that's very true. It's very hard for a ruling party to win the election. But it's also important to note that this is an activist group and not the official line of the president. And while the headlines, and I've seen many of them read that the aim is to cancel the elections, when you look on their website, what they're saying is elections right now is controlled by each state. They say that President Trump should sign an executive order and put it under a federal law, which is very hard to do, near impossible to try to change election laws so fast. They're suggesting, as you mentioned, the same thing as the SAVES Act is suggesting, which is ID, voter ID when you want to go to elections and vote, put limits and curtail mail-in ballots and also hand counting, not by machines. So those are the three things that they're suggesting. But the most important thing, and I think the one that's gotten most attention, understandably, is they're saying that under executive order, Donald Trump can take the authority of elections from the states and give it to the federal government. Again, it's been said before and it's never been done before. It's very hard to do something like this. You need congressional approval. And despite the fact that the Republicans do have a majority, I doubt that something like this will happen. But it's interesting that the conversation is there near the elections. Absolutely.
All right, Susan, thanks very much for joining us with the latest from United States of America. All right, with that, it's time for a short break. On the other side, a look at why Denmark has become the latest country to announce snap polls.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Hours after a Delhi court discharged Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal as well as his colleague Manish Sisodia in the alleged liquor scam case, the Central Bureau of Investigation of the CBI has now moved the Delhi High Court challenging the verdict. This, remember, comes after the Rouse Avenue Court refused to take cognizance of the CBI's charge sheet in the case and discharged all 23 accused. The court said that it has found no material at all against the accused persons to support the prosecution. Sources said that the CBI will approach the Delhi High Court challenging the Rouse Avenue Court's judgment. In fact, it already has moved the Delhi High Court. Speaking after the court's verdict, former Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal broke down into tears.
केजरीवाल भ्रष्ट नहीं है। मैंने केवल अपनी जिंदगी में ईमानदारी कमाई है। इन्होंने झूठा केस लगाया और आज ये साबित हो गया। कोर्ट ने कहा है कि केजरीवाल कट्टर ईमानदार है, मनीष सिसोदिया कट्टर ईमानदार है, आम आदमी पार्टी कट्टर ईमानदार है।
The former Delhi Chief Minister received a hero's welcome as he headed to the party office to address the media.
ये पूरा षड्यंत्र किसने रचा, क्यों रचा?
Speaking at the press conference, Arvind Kejriwal alleged that the so-called liquor scam was a conspiracy that was hatched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. Kejriwal alleged that it was part of the BJP's plan to finish off the Aam Aadmi Party.
ये पूरा षड्यंत्र किसने रचा, क्यों रचा? ये पूरा षड्यंत्र दो लोगों ने मिलकर रचा, नरेंद्र मोदी जी और अमित शाह जी। और आज उन दोनों को पूरे देश से माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
The case relates to alleged corruption in the formulation and execution of the Aam Aadmi Party government's now scrapped excise policy. Kejriwal and Sisodia were arrested while they were Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister, respectively, in New Delhi. Allegations against them involved favouring the owners and shareholders of private sectors, waivers and reduction of licence fee, as well as bribery. In January, the Delhi court acquitted Kejriwal in 2 cases filed by the Enforcement Directorate over allegations of skipping the federal agency's summons. An AI-driven disinformation campaign is underway targeting Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. A new report says that artificial intelligence is being used to bolster a Chinese language disinformation campaign purportedly aimed at destabilizing Singapore. An investigation was carried out on several Chinese language YouTube channels which consistently posted false content targeting Prime Minister Wong. The investigation was carried out by the media firm CNA, and it found patterns that suggested a wide-scale, organized disinformation campaign. AI was used to churn out hundreds of videos across 30 YouTube channels. All of them targeted Prime Minister Wong, with some going as far to say that he was about to be replaced by Singapore's former Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. The disinformation channels also showed Singapore on the verge of an economic collapse or the fall of the country's shipping industry. This is despite Singapore having the world's second busiest container port, which has been the case for the last 15 years. AI was used for fake visuals and Chinese language voiceovers. Many of them were delivered by an AI-generated avatar of late investor Charlie Munger. Munger was the vice chairperson of Berkshire Hathaway, and he passed away in 2023 at the age of 99. But his AI avatar is now being used to spread fake news about Singapore's supposedly imminent economic collapse. The YouTube channels that were investigated were found to operate in tandem, with many recycling the same AI visuals in the videos across all their platforms. Sometimes they also repeated the exact same scripts. The videos were found to have been uploaded within seconds of each other, further strengthening suspicion of a coordinated campaign. While some analysts say that the scale of disinformation campaign points to backing by a foreign state, others say a wealthy private entity may also be behind this fake news. The source of the disinformation campaign is still unknown, but the episode highlights how artificial intelligence is being used to undermine reality and sow political chaos. As AI becomes more sophisticated, campaigns like this are bound to escalate. Shifting focus now, Denmark has called for snap elections against a backdrop of tensions with the United States as well as Russia. The Danish Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, called a general election for the 24th of March in her efforts to capitalize on a surge in support for her defiant stance against America and its pressure over Greenland. Under the Danish system, Frederiksen had to call an election within 4 years of the last vote on the 1st of November 2022. Frederiksen presented the outlines of her election platform, which included a reform of the retirement age, the introduction of a wealth tax, and maintaining a strict migration policy. Denmark's current government is an unusual cross-partisan coalition of Frederiksen's Social Democrats, the centre-right Liberal Party led by Defence Minister Troels Lund Poulsen, and the moderates led by Lars Løkke Rasmussen, the foreign minister who has twice served as the prime minister. Opinion polls suggest the crisis government created in 2022 stands to lose its majority. Championing an extremely tough line, the far-right Danish People's Party wants to focus on deportations and the fight against inflation. And well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Race to Power. But as always, we'll keep getting you news and updates from across the world. Thank you very much for joining us at the moment. Bye-bye.
campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Beyond the noise and rhetoric, no election, no ballot issue too small. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. More than just headlines. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power. Only on WION. World is one.
As India shines at the 79th edition of the British Academy Film Awards, we take a look at the country's representation at BAFTAs over the years. Know all about the rising Asian prominence at the Berlin International Film Festival. And meet Indian actor Rahul Bhatt as he talks about the release of Kennedy. All this and much more with me, Diksha Bisla, on WION at these times.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
This week on the West Asia Post, jet killers from Russia, carrier killers from China. Iran is arming up with deadly missiles as Trump ramps up pressure. Trump plans to rebuild Gaza, Israel wants to keep control. But Hamas is quietly preparing to covertly control the Strip. Muslims around the world are fasting for Ramadan. In Gaza, the fast is by force, as food is scarce. The West Asia Post, only on WION, World is One.
Hand in glove and a camera to track your eyes. AI agents that need just our voice. Drones that maintain power lines. And a van that's collecting data to balance a city's green spaces to make a net zero world for us and AI. Catch all these stories and more on Tech It Out, only on WION at these times.
In West Asia, every move shifts the world's balance. Wars, ceasefires, alliances, power never stands still. From Tehran to Tel Aviv, from Damascus to Doha. The West Asia Post cuts through the chaos to reveal the region that shapes the world. Because what happens in West Asia never stays in West Asia. This is the West Asia Post, the region's story, the world's impact.